Yesterday, it was announced that Illinois will honor Terrence Shannon Jr. by putting his name and number in the rafters at the State Farm Center. This came out in a big press conference with the athletic director, Josh Whitman, who, by the way, anytime Josh Whitman's name comes up in our world, I have to spend a moment to just reiterate. I think this guy's the best athletic director in sports. I think this guy, anytime I have seen him do anything, I am like wowed by how polished he is and how prepared he is and just the way he handles himself. This was like swiftly moved on. Like, man, we were talking to Coleman about this 2 days ago. And, the season has only been over for a couple months. The trial ended less than a week ago, and they already have this prepared. It's well deserved, in my opinion. But anyways, the quote from Whitman was, "We're happy to make an exception in this case to recognize one of the great players that the program has ever seen." When exception is put out there, it warrants mention that Illinois has some very specific rules for how jersey numbers and names are retired in their program. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe numbers are even retired. It's just up there, but then those numbers can still be worn. That's my understanding of how it works. So it's not,
I believe so.
yeah, it's not a traditional like jersey retirement ceremony. It's more just like, let's honor this player as a program great. Um, and I believe the criteria normally belongs with like certain levels of player accomplishment. Like I think you need to make an All-American team in order to be considered. And Terrence Shannon, for obvious reasons, did not. So that's where making an exception comes in. This was like a bit of a debate. Like a decision had to be made on this. It wasn't obvious. And I'm really happy that they reached it so quickly. So your thoughts on Terrence Shannon Jr. being honored forever in Illinois basketball?
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation. Just because like outside of uh the actual, I guess, basketball accomplishments and accolades around this, he's a transfer, only played 2 years at Illinois. And it's just interesting to see how different schools do it, right? Because like I put it in Michigan State terms. Cassius Winston is one of the greatest point guards that ever played for Michigan State, and there's other guys that have played before him that are really great as well. Like Denzel Valentine was. I don't believe his jersey's in the rafters. I don't believe Draymond's might be up there. I got to double check on who's in Michigan State's rafters. Um, but it's just interesting to see how certain schools, go about this process. Because like Io DeSumo, I think got his jersey retired like 1 year after he left Illinois, which is like kind of quick in my mind or my opinion. But yeah, it's just like I don't think you can argue with the fact that Terrence Shannon Jr. has been one of the better players to play at Illinois in honestly the past couple years, going back to the days of Io and Kofi and them. Like Terrence Shannon Jr. productivity wise is right up there with those guys playing at an All-American level. So I don't know. It's interesting to me that he is getting his jersey retired. I don't think it's undeserved. It's just interesting.
Okay. I'm surprised you're kind of like the shoulder rub while you're saying that. To me this was an absolute no-brainer, and I applaud them for doing this quickly. Yeah, I did. We talked about it briefly, but like I strongly believe this should have happened. Here are the Illinois criteria for the record. So, in order to have your name and number honored, you need to either have been the National Player of the Year, a Basketball Hall of Fame member, the Big Ten Player of the Year, either first or second team All-American, an All-Century team member for Illinois, or six, which Terrence qualifies for, individual whose pioneering efforts made a significant impact on Illinois and international basketball. So he's obviously not any of the first five. Tough luck for him that he played the 2 years that Zach Edey was in the Big Ten. When you have a two-time National Player of the Year in your conference, there's not much you can do to overcome that. He would have been a first-team All-American this year. Like that, let's be clear. He would have been a first-team All-American this year, if not for the rape accusation that he was found not guilty of. Because of what this team did last season and how Terrence Shannon carried himself amidst all of these wrongful allegations, I don't know how you can deny him making a quote unquote significant impact on Illinois basketball. Like I spoke on it in the other videos, but I am hard pressed to think we have ever seen a college basketball player deal with more personal tribulation in a season and not let it affect his team, not let it affect his game. I mean, just the way he carried himself, character wise, personal wise, when he was on the road in environments that could not have been more brutal to him. And you add to it the fact that Illinois had their best postseason run in 20 years and a Big Ten tournament title. Like they ended as winners. That's what's lost in this. Maybe there would be an argument that this shouldn't have happened if they lose in the Big Ten tournament semifinals or they lose in the round of 32 again. Didn't happen. They got over the hump. They cut down nets, and it was Terrence Shannon's efforts and the person that Terrence Shannon is that allowed it to happen. I'm ecstatic for him because he deserves to be honored in some way. That I think of all the honors that were taken from him this year, like Player of the Year, All American, shit like that. He wasn't even in consideration for. Wasn't on our team because he missed a month. Like he deserves, his game deserves to be honored. And that's when you ignore all the personal side of this. I give Whitman and everyone involved in this decision a massive standing ovation round of applause card because
Wow.
this was a hard decision for the reasons you said. There are people who are like, why? Like this became a dialogue on Twitter. Like, why is this happening so quickly? Because it deserves to happen that quickly. Is your issue here that guys like Cassius Winston haven't gotten? Because like Trey Burke's not in the rafters, Cassius is not in the rafters.
It's just it's not even the Cassius thing. It's just like, how do you like? Yes, they did all these things. Yes, he did win a Big Ten title, hang that banner. Yes, they had the best postseason run that's been in Illinois history for a long time. But at the same time, like that, I don't mean to sound like that's it, but also like that's it. That's what gets it done.
So you want more team success than that?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I
Maybe
mean,
if I could have,
it's a fair take. It's a fair take.
because like it's only 1 year of that too. If this was 2 seasons worth of the same team success and personal, I think I would feel better about it.
So how much team success would have met your criteria then? Like they beat UConn and lose in the Final Four. Is that enough?
Making it to a Final Four, I think, would have been enough. Yeah.
So he was one game short of the Carter Elliott criteria.
It was also more so like it only being 1 year,
Okay. I guess.
but also he only played there 2 years, so he was 1 for 2.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's hard because I
Is
mean
Trey Burke's number really not in Michigan's Raptors?
Trey Burke's number's not in there because he hasn't graduated from Michigan.
Is that the wow? That's the reason.
I would assume that's a requirement at Michigan. He played 2 seasons, didn't graduate. He
That's
might be
crazy.
taking classes to get there. Honestly, he was back at Michigan recently, but
That's crazy.
um, yeah. I mean, why do you think Cash isn't retired?
I have no I don't have any reasoning behind why it isn't.
All right.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pro retire good players jerseys. Like, I don't think we need to gatekeep honoring players that deserve being honored. If we have to explain why the circumstances of Terrence Shannon's career was unique, then I think you've been living under a rock. To me, you shouldn't evaluate the impact he had on college basketball or Illinois basketball this year on the same criteria we're evaluating Trey Burke and Cassius Winston. Like, what he dealt with was so singularly strange and difficult. To be completely honest, I don't really care if they didn't win anything more important. He was that good. I know what my eyes saw. And also, I think you are minimizing, like, look, if Illinois had been making Final Fours all the time, then we would have a discussion about, like, well, Terrence actually underachieved compared to the program standards. The reality is people were wondering if Brad Underwood was ever going to make a second weekend. Like, the fact that there were nets cut down in the Big Ten tournament, followed by they got over the hump, that's enough for me. That's enough success in one season at the end of all he dealt with to make this obvious.
Yeah. Also, like to make it clear, like I want his jersey up there. I'm having a bad day.
You're really grumpy
I
today.
really am. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Can we blame Purdue fans for it?
No, just blame every. No, it's not even Purdue fans now.
Now it's Michigan State fans.
Now it's Spartan Dog 101.
Now it's me.
No, it's not even you.
Hmm. Do you want me to send you more Oreo gifts?
No. Good on Terrence Shannon.
Congratulations, Terrence Shannon.
Congratulations. That's big time. Like that's the one thing I will say is that it takes a special person and human being and basketball player to have that type of effect on a school in a very short amount of time.
Yep. Yeah.
And he did that.
We constantly said that Zach Edey was one of one, both on and off the court. So was Terrence Shannon, very clearly. And I'm really happy for him. You deserve this, Terrence. Congratulations. Good luck in the NBA draft. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/NBA-mini-games.